in perfect peace. Let's talk about that. That's me! With Toucan! With Go Gru! Yeah. Good morning, beautiful people. My wife is not commentating because she has to go in early. Say hi, Katie. Okay, there you go. So, today, perfect peace. Perfect peace. Perfect means complete, and it's all there. And peace is, there's no fighting or, pressure on your life. So how do we stay in perfect peace? Well, sometimes externally, in our physical life, it's hard to do that. But internally, such as mental, emotional, and spiritual, if the spiritual is correct, then most of the other things can go in line with those, with the spiritual aspect. Spiritual maturity is putting everything under control, under God's control. And so if we have perfect peace, then the outside, the external, doesn't have to get internal. So perfect peace. So the opposite of perfect peace is that it's chaos, or all the time chaos. And some people thrive for that. Some people live on chaos all the time, which doesn't make sense, because then you're hurting yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and probably spiritually. And you're just waiting for the next horrible thing to come, or the next horrible complaint, or you're complaining all the time, or you're just not fulfilled in what you're doing. But God says, if you come to me, there will be perfect peace, because the fulfillment of that is Jesus, not yourself, not your own works, not your own pleasures, not your own desires. It's the fulfillment that Jesus has in us. And so in Isaiah was a prophet, and the prophets were prophesying not only at that time, but they were prophesying for the future Messiah. And Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3 really points to the Messiah. And so it says here, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast. Now, steadfast could be interpreted as, stubbornly pointing towards Jesus, stubbornly pointing towards God in your life. Like you are stubborn that you will not give up God. You are resilient. You are passionately in love with God to the point where any other stuff really comes second, even yourself. And you're steadfast. You're going the extra mile, even if it hurts. Even if you have to sacrifice everything, you are steadfast in God. And so you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast. So our minds have to choose over our humanness, over our worldly view. Our minds have to choose to be in perfect peace with God, because we're looking at Him. We're not looking at other things. We're not looking at our desires or our pleasures. It's God, and then He gives us the right pleasures and the right desires and the right response. It's when we take our eyes off of God is when we go awry. So you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because, and see, I love that the Bible always explains itself, because they trust in you. Now, if you've been to any youth group or any kind of camp, they usually do this thing called the trust fall. And a person stands on the chair, and there's like 6 people behind them holding arms like this, and you have to turn around and you have to drop without bending your knees. And it's called a trust fall, because you're trusting those 6 people to catch you. And a lot of times, 2 or 3 times, you bend your knee and you're like, nope, do it again. And over that time, you're like, oh, they're catching me. So maybe the 4th or 5th time, you've locked your knees and you fall. Now, it's the weird feeling in that couple of seconds. You're like, are they really going to catch me? Your whole mind doubts and millions of thoughts. But once you lay on their hands and you're like, oh, this is easy. Then you want to do it over and over again, because that trust, it was there. Same thing with God. Sometimes we'll have to test the waters with God and see if this is right. But then when it works, you're like, oh, yeah, if God was right in this area of my life, then He has to be right in the rest of it. And so we start building that trust. And that trust changes our mind and our actions. And then we're like, okay, we are at peace. No matter what happens in the world, no matter what's outside that we can't control, we're going to have peace because we've done that trust fall with God, and he has caught us every time. And that's what brings perfect peace, is that God is there constantly. We're the ones who walk away. We're the ones who get off the chair and doesn't want to drop. We're the ones who, are selfish in our desires. It's God stays fast. God stays faithful. And so we need to come back to God and be steadfast in his word and his love. I love you. Jesus loves you too. You have a great Tuesday. And my encouragement is trust God and be steadfast so you can have perfect peace. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.